Hi everyone, welcome for another video. Today I'll show you how I made a working analog clock in Minecraft. This clock has a piston display with two different size hands and it's flush with the wall. But how can you make the clock hands rotate, you'll say? Well, basically I don't. In fact, there are 12 different lines of pistons that are activated in the right order to create this effect of rotation. The problem is that, as you can see in the middle, all pistons are close to each other, which means, like some might know, that quasi-connectivity will basically break the display. For those who don't know, quasi-connectivity is a property of dispensers, droppers and pistons that allows them to be activated by anything that would activate the space above them. What it means is that anything able to power this redstone lamp will also activate the piston if an update is given. Unfortunately for us, pistons can instantly update other pistons, which means that whenever there are two pistons one above the other, if you power the one above, you will also power the one underneath. So that's it, I can't possibly do this piston line, you'll say. Well, not exactly, because I know three ways to get around this problem. First one, get rid of one of the pistons. Second one, use quasi-connectivity to fight quasi-connectivity, like this. The display still works and the issue is solved. Perfect. I just need to find a place to add this piston. Yep, that won't work either. Third way, we can use zero ticking. Basically, we power and unpower the top piston so fast that the one underneath won't activate. The way it works is because repeaters and comparators both take one redstone tick to activate, but comparators are processed after repeaters, which means we can turn on and off a signal within a single game tick. With this setup, the repeater turns the signal on through the block and the comparator activates the piston which turns on the signal. This is what I used in the clock with another setup with an observer instead of a comparator because it's more compact, but it works exactly the same way. The rest of the display is basically using normal powering and zero ticking and quasi-connectivity, like here, where I powered this piston in this side in order to activate this one. And after a lot of head scratching, I managed to fit 12 inputs for the hours and 12 others for the minute. You can see here the zero tick generators and the inputs around the clock. The second part was the timer, which I thought was going to be much simpler. My idea for the clock to be synchronized with Minecraft was to send a signal every 5 minutes in the game, which will make the clock move one step, which means I needed a timer and something to keep track of what time it is. But there's a catch. One Minecraft day is 20 minutes long, or 2400 seconds, which means that 1 hour in-game is equivalent to 100 seconds in real life. And so, 5 minutes to 8.33 seconds, which means I can't possibly precisely time my clock every 5 minutes. Plus, there's also the fact that people can sleep through the night, and if the clock goes into unloaded chunks, it won't work. Thus, the clock can't possibly be always synchronized with the in-game time, which is why I wisely decided to ignore the problem and work on the mechanism to keep track of the time. I tried two different methods, one with a hopper counter, like this. Basically, every time a signal gets through, the item in one of the hoppers move one step, just like a clock is supposed to. Which means that for it to work, you just need to have two counters, one for the minutes and one for the hours, and link each output of the counters to each input of the display. But the wiring is a nightmare and the other method I find cooler. So I didn't use hopper counters, but instead a piston feed tape like this, while the cauldron has the same goal as an item in the hopper counter. The cauldron is detected by all the comparators around the feed tape, and all of them are directly linked to the inputs of the display. Finally, the little feed tape, which is the one for the hours, is activated by the other one once every lap, and the piston feed tape for the minute is itself activated by a Hitho upper clock every 8.4 seconds. The shape of the feed tape makes it easier for the wiring. It's not a flawless design either, because the shape makes it impossible to block 1 hour when the two of them intersect, whereas with the hopper counter, all outputs are close to one another. The proximity makes it possible. Once that was done and everything was correctly wired, I tried to make the reset mechanism. My idea was to make the clock rotate faster every morning until it's on time again. I managed to do it, but it was too fast for the display to keep up 100% of the time, and if I made it slower, it would take too long to work properly. So I decided to leave it being not 100% reliable and sometimes have an incomplete reset. I don't think I'm going to do another improved version of the clock, but I will happily help anyone who wants to. Click here if you wanna see the showcase.